Although you'll never hear me say, cut your calories, push the plate away, move more, eat less. Never. There are times where it's an advantage to be able to control your appetite better. It might be at an event of some sort, like a wedding or a banquet, where you're confronted with all kinds of temptations, as well as people saying, hey, one cupcake won't hurt you, or something like that, or one slice of wedding cake won't hurt you. So there are times when you want to resist temptation and make it easy. The supplements in the market and the drugs in the market that purport to reduce appetite really don't work all that well. The supplements have hardly any real effect at all, and you waste money for almost no benefit. And the drugs, of course, do lead to reduction in appetite and weight loss that you regain inevitably once you're off the drugs, not to mention the expense and side effects of such things. So here are natural ways and very powerful ways to turn off your appetite. Now, the cornerstone of any effort to suppress appetite is elimination of wheat and grains. To many people who have not heard this before, it seems overwhelming, it seems impossible, it seems unrealistic, but it's not. Because you can replace wheat and grains with healthy replacements. Remember, not gluten-free junk, but real foods. That's what I do in my Wheat Belly cookbooks, for instance, and my Wheat Belly blog, etc. We recreate fun foods like cheesecake or pie or pizza with benign, healthy ingredients that don't cause weight gain, don't raise blood sugar, don't trigger appetite. Going wheat and grain-free is extremely powerful to turn off your appetite. And that's because there's a protein in wheat and related proteins in other grains called gliadin. Gliadin is not fully digestible by humans. It's broken down to pieces, or 4 or 5 amino acid long peptides. And these peptides have the unique capacity to cross into the brain and bind to the opiate receptors. Where they don't make you high or provide pain relief, they stimulate appetite enormously. This is why people who eat, for instance, a big bowl of pasta and their stomach is bursting full are still hungry. It's a very unnatural response. Or this kind of lingering, persistent hunger between meals, or that kind of desperate, get out of my way kind of hunger before lunch or dinner. You get none of that when you are wheat and grain free. So a real powerful start is wheat and grain elimination. Keep in mind that there's a withdrawal detoxification process that lasts about 5 to 7 days. It's an opioid withdrawal syndrome. So if you go through that, see my Wheat Belly Total Health book, Wheat Belly 10-Day Grain Detox, and my Undoctored book on some strategies to soften that process, to make it less unpleasant. Another way to suppress appetite is to ignore all the silly advice to limit your fat. No, eat all the fat you want. Have more butter. Use more coconut oil. Never buy lean cuts of meat. Buy the fatty cuts and don't trim off the fat. Eat it. Eat more organ meats if you can. Modern people don't like that idea, but that's what Grandma did, and you should go back to that over time. Never buy low-fat or non-fat dairy. Go for the full fat. Enjoy fat. Fat is satiating. Fat and oils are satiating. And if you cut fat, you're going to be hungry all the time. Add fat back, you're satiated for many hours. It's responsible for phenomena like this, especially when combined with wheat and grain elimination. You have breakfast at, say, 7 a.m., maybe 3 eggs and sausage. You might not be hungry till 2, 3, 4 p.m. Hunger is a completely different experience when you do these kinds of things. Another strategy are medium-chain triglycerides. This is a type of oil that turns off appetite while modestly accelerating fat loss and giving you mental clarity and energy. Also, don't exceed a tablespoon, however. More than a tablespoon, you risk developing diarrhea, loose stools from one of the fatty acids. So a tablespoon can be added to coffee. It can be added to food. You can use it as as the oil in salad dressing. If you add it to coffee, you want to emulsify it with a stick blender so it's suspended, or buy MCT oil powder. Just watch out for some of the emulsifying and thickening agents. You want to buy a brand that doesn't have a lot of those additional things. Acacia fiber is a good one. It's a good addition because that's a prebiotic fiber. So MCT oil powder is a great way to whiten your coffee while getting all the benefits of the MCTs. And it's a good opportunity to also add your collagen hydrolysates if you're concerned about joint health and skin health. Lastly, my lactobacillus reuteri yogurt. That is this yogurt we make, not with conventional yogurt bacterial strains, but two very specific strains of Lactobacillus reuteri, DSM 17938 and ATCC PTA 6475. Those two specific strains, when cultivated using my special methods of fermentation, extended fermentation in the presence of prebiotic fibers, all outlined in a Wheat Belly blog post called Make L. reuteri Yogurt. You'll generate a yogurt that's rich, thick, and delicious. It takes 36 hours. Consume half a cup a day, and most people, not all, I don't know why everyone doesn't get this effect, but the majority of people get a profound, what we call an anorexigenic effect. You are completely freed from appetite. You can stare at a piece of cheesecake or a big pizza, and you'll have no interest whatsoever. Food still tastes good. Don't worry, you won't starve, but you are given magnificent control over diet. Now, combine these strategies. Be wheat and grain free, as we do in the Wheat Belly lifestyle. Increase your fat, as we do. Use MCTs on occasion when you feel like it and want more energy, say, or clarity, mental clarity. And then combine it with consumption of a half cup a day of the Lactobacillus reuteri yogurt, and you will be wonderfully freed from appetite. You'll have complete control over food choices and freedom from temptation.